In a previous video, I told you about a day that my wife and I were sitting outside on our back patio and a flock of birds came swooping in at us, coming right for our heads, it seemed. And I think I said it, but even if I didn't, you might be able to guess what I did as we saw those birds approaching. I ducked. I didn't want them to hit me straight in the face. And so I ducked. Incidentally, I was on a Zoom call a couple of days later, doing a pre-marriage class with a fun young couple, and I was saying something, and out of my peripheral vision, over the top of my computer screen, I could see a bug that was flying right towards me, and it came in and flew towards me. You know what I didn't do as the bug was coming and flying towards me? I didn't duck, but I should have, because it came and it just splat right in the face, hit me right in the face. The couple on the Zoom call, they said it looked like it was a big bird that came flying right at me. It looked so big to them on the screen. But anyway, we duck when we're not all that confident that something is going to turn out well. I wasn't confident that the birds flying at me were going to avoid me, so I ducked. And I should have ducked when the bug came flying at me and just landed, hit me square between the eyes. Anyway, we duck when we're not confident. That's the point I'm going for. Which means that the opposite is true. We don't duck when we are confident. We lift up our heads, confident that whatever comes at me, I'm going to be okay. David talks about that in Psalm 3, and you wouldn't blame him for not having courage. His son is coming after him, and that's so hard on the heart. And of course, his life was in danger, and his son Absalom had people with him. We're trying to hunt down David and find him. And yet David was confident. He says as much. He says that he's able to lift his head up high, but he says it in an interesting way. He said, it's the Lord who lifts up my head. It's the Lord who gives him confidence. And how does the Lord give him confidence? He says, by bestowing glory on him. What does that mean? As I read that, I thought of Peter, the disciple of Jesus, Peter, who wasn't all that confident. On the night that Jesus was betrayed, just a couple of hours after promising he would never deny that he knew Jesus, he did it 3 times after Jesus told him that he would. He wasn't all that confident. And so he went away and he wept bitterly. And then Jesus died. And then he rose again and appeared to the disciples, even Peter. But then a little bit later, I wonder if Peter was still feeling less than confident. Jesus goes out and he finds him fishing. The Bible doesn't tell us this was the case, but in my mind, it's possible that Peter went out fishing again because that's what he used to be good at. And he thought, you know what, I'm not good at being a disciple. Happy that Jesus died, happy that Jesus rose, happy that God's mission is accomplished. But I'm just not the kind of disciple that has what it takes to go out and witness for him. So then Jesus came and sat down by the fire with Peter and he asked him a question. He said, Peter, do you love me? And he asked him another question. Peter, do you love me? And he asked him another question. Peter, do you love me? 3 times he asked him. Why? It seems because he wanted Peter to think about Peter's biggest regret. The evening that was making him feel less than confident as a disciple, as a man. And why would Jesus do that? It wasn't to pour salt in the wounds. It was to give him his confidence back. When Jesus asked the question, Jesus followed up Peter's answer each time with something else. He said, Peter, do you love me? And Peter said, yes. And Jesus said, feed my lambs. Peter, do you love me? Yes. Take care of my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yeah. Feed my sheep. In other words, Peter, I know the worst about you. And not only do I still love you, I trust you. Go and take care of the most valuable part of my kingdom, my precious little sheep. And that, it seems, is what gave Peter his confidence back. Because after that, in the book of Acts, we see Peter being very courageous, very confident, standing in front of people who literally wanted to kill him, and not being afraid to tell them about Jesus, or about their sin, and about how Jesus forgives every last one of them, including yours, including mine. Jesus bestowed glory on Peter that day. He showed Peter the very significant place that Peter held in the heart of God and in the kingdom of God. And it's the same place that you hold. You mean so much to God. In God's eyes, you are elevated. You are treasured. You're beautiful. You're forgiven. So be confident. Let that lift up your head as you face whatever it is you're facing. God is with you. He will not fail you. He will never fail to love you. Rest well tonight, my friends.